Fair enough. And as you say, Corny, we'll get your thoughts on a future episode. But with no further ado, we got another very special guest, Chris Miranda. He's the vice president of outreach and sales of America Strong USA.org. But I want to give Courtney the opportunity to honor of fully introducing him. So, Courtney, you go ahead, man.
Um, I said in a previous episode when I was back when I was deployed, basically a month ago, a few weeks ago, that 2020 has been a particularly hard and challenging and tragic year, not only for Americans but for the world. And I firmly believe that we've all taken multiple L's and multiple losses this year in 2020, and this can be looked at as a very disheartening and very discouraging time for humanity and for us as Americans and citizens of the world living in America. The person we're about to speak with right now is a person who is fully committed to putting a W back in the column for Americans and for and basically for the cause and for the hope of democracy and all that it stands for, not only at home but abroad worldwide. I'm active duty Air Force. I've been in the military for the past 17 years. This gentleman we're about to speak to is a retired Master Sergeant in the United States Air Force. And when I was deployed overseas, I got so much affirmation. I got so many well wishes from people back home saying thank you, saying we're proud of you. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing. But being over there and seeing what the rest of the world was dealing with when COVID hit, when the social unrest has hit, when the greater conversation about an equitable society has been going on, I'm basically a person doing what I do, and I'm looking at the doctors. I'm not sure I understand. I'm sorry, that's what but I'm looking at the doctors. I'm looking at nurses. I'm looking at policemen. I'm looking at firefighters. I'm looking at frontline workers in hospitals, in restaurants, in the service sector, doing what they're doing, getting up, going to work every day in the face of one of the greatest challenges we've seen as Americans and as a society as a whole. And those people have become my heroes. The people who just had the courage to not only live their lives the best they could, but to reach their hand out and help others, whether it's to sew a mask up for somebody, whether it's to keep people fed, whether it's to put a mask on and go into somebody's home and check on them because they live alone or maybe they're elderly, or bring a meal by, or just knock on a door of your neighbor and say hello to them and make sure they're all right. Those are the people who've become my heroes. So this gentleman we're about to speak to, Chris Miranda, is a veteran. He's a patriot, and he's a proud resident currently residing in San Antonio, Texas. And it's with great humility and great pleasure that I present, Mr. Chris Miranda to the Standing 8 podcast and broadcast to talk to us a little bit more about a cause and about an organization that is in his core and is seeping all throughout him to just basically to help others and to be of service. America Strong. Chris, thank you so much for being here on the show today. And before you get started, I got to start with a question. Are you a boxing fan? Because if you're not, you got to kick rocks.
Oh, man, that's going to hurt me. That's going to hurt me. Back in the day, I used to watch my Friday night fights.
Good deal. Hey, we'll take that. We'll take that.
Yes. I've watched Canelo fight. I've watched Tyson fight back in the day. But I have to say, with UFC coming around, a lot more action. And I like that. I like boxing, but UFC caught my attention, and I kind of fell off. I'm not gonna lie, but I do like the stand-up in UFC, which resembles, boxing. So that's good. So, hey, first off, I want to say thank you guys, all of you, for letting us come on here. I know it's a little bit outside of the boxing realm, but I'd like to say that we are 100% thankful for any opportunities that we get there. We can speak about our company and what we're doing and how we're trying to do it. First and foremost, anybody who's listening, please, to understand more about what the company is about and what our target is, please go to americastrongusa.org. Now, basically, we are United First Responders brand, and we have the America Strong trademark, which is a very strong trademark. We have a lot of people who are wanting to come on board with us because America Strong is not just a powerful phrase, it's a powerful flow of energy that comes with it. Now, what we are trying to do, something, and we just started up, so please bear with us. But what we're doing is we start off with the wristband challenge. And the wristband challenge is something as simple as this. If you can see it, it says America Strong.
Yep.
On one side, and on the back side has an American flag. So what we've done is we've set up a website. That's the website I was telling you guys about, the AmericaStrongUSA.org. And essentially, you go there to purchase one of those, or maybe more of those bracelets. We've grown inventory from these plastic yellow bracelets to the really nice cuff bracelets. And what we're doing is we have T-shirts for sale, and at some point we're going to have the America Strong beer line that comes out in hard seltzer. I mean, doesn't that sound kind of awesome to have an America Strong beer clothing line? And what essentially you're going to do is everything's going to come straight from the United States. It's going to be made in the United States, ingredients from the United States, targeting the United States heroes, as you said. And Courtney, I'm going to have to say, you might have a job with us after this. That was an amazing presentation you gave about the company, and I truly appreciate everything that you said, because I'm not sure if the other gentleman, you guys been in the military?
No.
No, we're not.
I'm currently active duty, and another panelist, Tommy Rush, he couldn't be with us tonight. He is a veteran of the United States Army.
Very nice. Very nice. So just to give you an example, when we deploy, the hostilities that we undergo is basically over a 4-month, 9-month, maybe a 12-month if we extend it out period in time. Correct, Courtney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we come back home and we come back to the peace and loving, tranquil state, country, neighborhood that we're used to. The police officers, the doctors, the nurses, the firemen, all of them are in a deployment situation, especially right now in this time frame, on a daily basis. They put their lives on the line, not just because of the virus, just to protect people who don't even know their name. They don't know who that person is, who they're protecting, who they're saving, but they're going to put their life on the line. And we understand that there's a situation right now where they had a few bad elements within the police. But you know what? That doesn't make all police bad. And those guys, I'm telling you, if you look at some of the pictures back from 9/11, the very first group of people to go into the building as everybody was rushing out and those planes hit were the policemen and were the firemen. They sacrificed everything they had without even a second thought. But their main mission, their main thought, save whoever we can save. And a lot of them perished trying to save people who didn't even know them. Nobody knew each other, but they knew they had that sense of duty, that sense of pride within America, within the American citizen, within the community fabric. They had that sense of pride because whoever's in that building is family at this point, and I'm going to go save you. So what we, back in that time frame, even though it was a bad situation, there was a huge sense of American pride, huge sense of just come togetherness. And we want to try to take it back to that because right now we are just falling apart at the seams. And the last thing I want, the last thing we all want, is for some rogue country out there to think that the United States is falling apart within to try to attack us from the outside. We don't want that. And on top of that, we don't want to dismantle ourselves from the inside to be completely defunct. We don't want that. We want, if we enjoy the lives that we have, if we enjoy these podcasts, going out and walking down the street, being able to protest. Hey, protest is good. But you know what? You can't do that in other countries. We have the freedoms. And what we're trying to do is ensure that we come back together as a family, as a country, in love, And we're trying to do it in a small pocket. This is our pocket. This is our beginning. These bracelets is our beginning. And we're going to move forward really fast. We have a lot of investors coming in, and we have a lot of people interested in the America Strong trademark. And we had a race car just recently. We were at NASCAR. We had a car wrapped, and we had it going. It was an amazing event. So many people there, so many just Americans happy. They stood for the American. They had their hands over their hearts. They were just, everybody loved everybody. All races, creeds, colors was in the stands. And, you know, the COVID didn't exist right there in that little circle, by the way, at NASCAR. It's scary to get into that little NASCAR apparently because everybody was there and enjoying it. And we had so much fun. It was incredible to see the patriotism, the camaraderie. There was no anger, there was no nothing. It was just a sense of calmness and enjoying a sport like we used to do in the old days. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to start with our little pocket, start with these bracelets and the t-shirts and eventually the beer that's on the way. We have the clothing. And if you look at some of the shirts, we have a design for the 9/11. We have this flag one that I'm wearing now. It's America Strong. Here, I'll turn around real quick. If you can see it.
Yeah.
That one. We essentially are collecting that money and we're going to donate to the heroes that you were talking about, Courtney. We're going to donate to the nonprofit organizations that are helping those heroes. Because there are a lot of nonprofit organizations out there right now that are helping the police, the firemen, the doctors, the nurses, EMTs, whoever it might be that are on the front line right now, helping everybody and anybody. They're out there because the situation is there's so much happening that there isn't enough money to go out and help those organizations, as well as we plan on trying to provide to the elementary schools that don't have the PPE, the protective gear, the masks, the hand sanitizer, whatever it might be. We want to donate to those causes too, because that youth, that's our future. That's somebody's child. That was me at one point. That was you guys at one point in elementary school. You know, to take care of them is to take care of our future. So what we're doing is we're trying to do this. And if we have one little pocket right here, which is us, and we have another little pocket company that gets together, and then another one, guess what? We merge together and become a huge movement. Right now, we can do what we can. And with this podcast, hopefully people are going to hear us and going to go out there and want to be a part of us. We donate and do whatever you can for us to help us help other people. That is our main goal. We have John Legge, who's the president. We have PJ Schrantz. He's a 9/11 firefighter who's on our team as well. We have some really caring people on our team that just want the United States to be okay. We want us to move forward. We want us to repair, and we got to start slow and small, and that's where we come in. So apart from that, any other questions for me that I can touch on? Because I know we had a few questions in the lineup.
What was the significance of picking yellow for the wristband?
So picking yellow is because the color yellow is the brightest color within the rainbow. Okay, we picked it, it's the brightest color. It is a strong color, as well as if you think about it, in the military, when we have members who deploy, the color that's used when we tie the ribbon around the tree, everybody remember that when we used to do it? It was the big yellow ribbon. It's for remembrance, it's for caring. So that's why we picked yellow, because yellow stands for all of that, and we want to be all of that.
And also, this is not related to your organization per se, but we know you work for the USAA. How was your experience working there up to this point? Can you shed some light on that?
Oh yeah. So I'm going to tell you, I'm diehard military. I did 22 years in the military. I did my deployments. I love my airmen. I love my soldiers. Anybody who's in the military, I love helping. So I was working in USA for about 2 years in the IT department. And essentially, I just left USAA. And tomorrow, I start my onboarding for at Lackland Air Force Base. Courtney, you know what that is. That's where everybody goes through for basic training in the Air Force. So I'm going back to Lackland to take over a section to help them understand the quantitative effects of computer repair, network repair. Go back and try to fix the help desk and try to improve a lot of aspects. Because I used to teach that when I was in the Air Force as well. So they want me to create a course to push it out to the Air Force, as well as stand up this whole division. So, and I'm going to do it solely because I love helping the warfighters.
Before I kick it off to Courtney, how much of your job duties deal with cybersecurity? Is that part of your jurisdiction or field?
Well, cybersecurity is a huge part of the IT realm, and right now they're calling it cyber in the cyber world. It's huge, and there are so many positions out there right now. Anybody listening, if you want to get into the IT career field, I will tell you that cybersecurity is the way to go. Get some certifications and do that, because not only within USA, Air Force, whatever company, they need cybersecurity professionals. So, and there's short demand right now, or in high demand, short supply. So go ahead and look into cybersecurity aspects. It's a huge chunk of it. When I was in USAA, I was teaching the phishing program. You know, how to be aware and alert. And I would actually send out mock email phish. And it's amazing to see how many people would fail. Even our most professionals that we had within the system would fail. Because, you know, you have to make them realistic. And I would catch them all the time.
Very interesting stuff. Courtney, any follow-up questions?
Yeah, Chris. Back to America Strong. What platforms can people go and basically just learn more about your organization and its mission and what you're trying to do for people? What platforms? You know, we know you have a website. Just give us the rundown of saying where all we can find you on the World Wide Web and on social media.
On the interweb, right? Yeah. So we have a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and a YouTube channel we just stood up. What we did, now here's the interesting part for the YouTube channel. Did you guys know that Mayor de Blasio said that the reading of the names of the 3,000 people who died in 9/11 was not allowed to happen this year? Did you guys know that?
No, I did not know that.
Okay, so de Blasio put a squash on that. So our organization got together and we broke up the 3,000 names, and we have some very high-powered representatives and dignitaries, regular people like me. We have pastors, we have senators, all taking a chunk of the names to pay homage and respect to the fact that those people, those heroes that we're trying to support, those heroes went into the building selflessly to save lives and ended up losing theirs. We could not stand there and let that happen. So what we did was we did that, and we have a YouTube channel with all the videos broken up so you can see it in parts, because there's a lot of names and there's a lot of people who wanted and jumped in on this because it's an amazing thing to do. It's the right thing to do. So yes, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and go ahead and look up America Strong USA when you do that. And if you go to our website, it's at the bottom of the page. It lists everything out. And we have a news portion, and it tells you exactly what's happening and where we're at. The new products that might be coming out, new interviews that happen. For example, this interview will end up on our news channel as well.
Good deal.
Go ahead, Courtney.
I just wanted to ask one more question. The organization is called America Strong. I was going to ask, how strong are you right now as far as personnel, who you guys have on the ground, working on social media, on the web, just basically all the entities that are plugging your organization? How many people do you have on board right now?
So the organization is actually called the United First Responders Brand, and our trademark is America Strong.
Okay.
So we have a total within our team, I would guesstimate right now, I didn't count them out, about 8 to 10 people.
Okay.
Working very hard on all of those platforms I just mentioned, going out doing interviews like this, writing letters out to companies. We're constantly busy, constantly boots on the ground, pushing ahead, just to make sure that people know who we are and what we represent and who we're trying to represent. Yeah, we are working hard. We are solid 8.
Great stuff. My last question is, so what were your fondest memories serving, serving our great country? Can you
Oh,
bring up
man.
any one of your best memories, if you could share that with us?
So I have 2, if you don't mind, I can share the 2. So when I was in USAFE, which is the Air Force out in Europe, there's basically a competition within your career field, and it's called Airman of the Year. You have Airman of the Quarter. So you have to win you have to be the best within your career field within the quarters of the year. And then at the end of the year, you have a final competition to see if you are the best at the end of the year amongst all the other winners. So I was blessed enough to win. And in Europe, you just don't win a trophy. You don't win plaques and kudos. I won an F-16 ride. I won an F-16 D model. I was up there and I literally told the pilot, if I don't throw up, I'm going to be upset. And he tried. And I packed a bunch of those little throw up bags. I said, all right, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to need at least 4 bags. But I had a blast. It was one of the best competitions I did. It helped me learn a lot about me, as well as the reward itself was just phenomenal. I'll never forget it. Now, the other thing I have is a part of 9/11. Everybody remembers where they're at. Okay. Do you remember back when the news reports were coming out and nobody knew what was happening, where the planes came from, what hit the towers? I was part of an organization in Hill Air Force Base called the 84 Base. And essentially they are the radar evaluation squadron, and they manage all the radars that track all of the flights that are around the United States. And they are many in multitudes. So we are the only one that does what we do in the DoD. So at a certain point, the White House, the FAA, CIA, FBI, everybody was calling us to get that information. But apparently somebody knew what we did as well, some bad guy, and they called in a bomb threat. So with the bomb threat, they have to clear the building. So we couldn't do our jobs. So everybody had to go at least 200 feet, 300 feet away. And we were in another parking lot somewhere near the wing headquarters, basically, the main boss's building. With that said, myself, Chief Mark Lubinsky, and a Tech Sergeant, Junior Nahill, all defied orders, ran back to the building to get our mobile units that our technicians used, ran back, getting yelled at the whole time by our commander, okay, because we were not supposed to go back due to the bomb, supposed bomb. Ran back, gave the deployed kits to our technicians, and literally said, sir, give us a second. Guys, do what you do best. There's some serious stuff going on. We need you to set up over at the headquarters. And they did. So with the news reports, stop saying we don't know. And at certain points, they started saying undisclosed sources told us. That was the 84 raids. They were the undisclosed sources. That was us at that time. And we made that happen so that people knew what was going on. Those are my 2 highlights.
Wow, that's very, very, very tense moments that you experienced there, and also, yeah, and also we like to thank you for coming on, enlightening us about your experiences, and also giving us insight about AmericasStrongUSA.org. Thank you, Mr. Chris Miranda, for taking time out of your schedule to join us. Any last comments you want to share with us before we end it?
The only thing I can tell you is we need to come back together as a country in love and patience. We can start off with if that sounds even better. Let's like each other. Let's like the moment. Let's like our neighbor. Let's not leave the house with hatred in our hearts, in our minds. Let's try to leave the house and wake up with positive thoughts, because positive thoughts are contagious. And the ones with negative thoughts will soon be drowned out by the positive. So we, as a company, are trying to push that positivity out. So all we ask is that everybody give like a chance, like your neighbor, like yourself, like your job, Enjoy the fact that God gave you another day. You woke up, you saw the sunshine. You had a chance and a moment to spend with your child and your family, and you got a moment to hang out with your boys, with your girlfriend, with your wife, whatever it is. Have a great steak meal, but you were given another chance. Why not use it to the best of your ability, not for the worst of the situation? So we just ask everybody, be patient and come back and take a deep breath and come back in light. It'll soon get to love.
Thank you again for those
Man.
heartfelt words. And uh, Eddie Sanchez, Eduardo Sanchez, also thank you for joining us earlier in the show. Any last words, any shout outs
Thank
you want
you.
to give out before we end it tonight?
Definitely. First of all, I definitely want to say, Mr. Chris, it was a pleasure meeting you, man. I'm so glad to be a part of this show with us right now. And
Thank
thank you for the time you served, man, for us, man. And I wish you nothing but success and more positive coming out from this. And I'll definitely take those last words you say to heart, man, and put it into my life. So, like again, it was just an honor to meet you. And for everybody else, man, thank you for having me here always and supporting me, Aaron, and like my little boy Eddie over here.
you. Eddie, Eddie.
Courtney, thank you guys so much for always having me on the show with you guys and supporting me in my career. And just stay tuned, man. I'll be back on the show very soon, man. I'm working hard, but I'm gonna still end it with thank you, Mr. Chris, for your kind work that you're doing right now.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Yeah.
You, Eddie?
Love your family, man. Love the ones that are close to you. Those people, those 3,000 people that went into that building that never came back, that night they had with their families was the last night they had. So make it every day count.
Amen.
Every day does count. Courtney, any last words before we end it tonight?
Hey, I just want to say to the Standing 8 podcast viewers, thank you so much for sticking with us and sticking it, sticking it out through, throughout the time that we've been able to present to you on multiple platforms and on social media. You stuck with us through cancellations, technical difficulties, some we've experienced on this show. But we just keep coming back because of the public demand and the response that we get from the public. It's really uplifts my soul to be able to share this with you all and to basically just talk about one of my passions in life and to share it with so many people. Thanks again to Mr. Chris Miranda for being on the show with us. This is outside the box for this and a first for this broadcast to basically delve into something that's outside the realm of boxing, but as I like to say, we're so much more than boxing fans. We're so much more than our given occupation. We're so much more than an ethnic group we identify with. We're so much more than a language that we speak. We're so much more than a nationality that we adhere to. We are human beings, and we are we are all just sharing a very brief moment in time called life. And if a gentleman like Master Sergeant retired Mr. Chris Miranda can come and spend 10 to 15 minutes with us talking about an organization that is uplifting people and is just seeking to pay homage to humanity, then I think that's all to the good. And I think that is, even though it's not directly related to the sweet science, I think it directly ties into what we're doing here on the show, as in looking to just uplift people and just spread hope and spread positivity and just lift people up from a state of ordinary living and just giving people something to look forward to. So, Mr. Miranda, we thank you again. Eddie, El Dorado, hashtag Leyenda Futura. Hey, thank you so much for coming on the show. Hey, and Aaron, hey, thank you for putting together another fire show. We know that you have the toughest job on these broadcasts, moderating, participating, fielding questions, asking questions, and working the boards, and just doing it so fabulously, man. Hey, we love you. Hey, I fucks with you, man. We dig your style.
Thank you, Courtney. Mr. Chris Miranda, Mr. Eddie Sanchez.
Thank you.
Everyone out there watching, thank you for tuning in. Have a safe night, everyone. This is episode 59 in the books. Good night, everyone.
Yeah.
Good night.